at me on this. If you're dedicated and you want to join this organization here in Johnson County, inbox me on the Facebook page, and I promise you I'll work something out. Okay? That's one of the other things I wanted to hit on. The background checks, just so we all know we're on an even field. Joe, he explained it perfectly. We don't want the wolves infiltrating this group. Point and simple. But just to make sure that we're on a fair playing field here, the next time you guys have your meeting, Joe's going to have a copy of my background check. He's going to hand it out to you all. Just so you know, I'm not some guy who's getting your information, looking up, oh, what did he do? No, it's not for that. It's for quality control of the people who's going to be a part of this. You're going to be directly involved with the community. When we was at NC Hunter Supply in Raleigh, how many kids showed up, Joe? There's probably, Toby, your kids were there. You brought your kids out. There's probably 8 to a dozen kids that showed up. We get out to a community, like we're going to be setting up at the mall in Lumberton, May 18th. You know, what if I had a group of people there trying to educate people, tell people what we're about, tell people about the lifestyle, to try to better inform them, to try to get the sheep to go to the sheepdog lifestyle, but yet, you know, they got their kids, they're going to be in the mall, but what if I've got a sex offender to the left of me who was charged with molesting kids, you know, 6 months ago? What does it make it look like? A bunch of hypocrites. That's the reason for the background checks and the sole reason only. And I'll be the only one conducting those for every chapter across North Carolina. News background checks. One of the last couple things I want to hit on is up there is who's going to lead this chapter here in Johnson County. That's your board, with the exception of a couple more billets that's got to be filled. However, I practically live on that Facebook page right now. Either me or my wife does. Open door policy. You ever have a problem, an issue, anything at all, get on the Facebook page, inbox it. Put Sheepdog Actual, Josh, whatever you want to do. Can you email me at such and such, or can you call me at such and such number? 100% complete open door policy to me if you ever need anything at all. All right, one of the last things that I want to kind of drive home here, who's been on the new website so far? Who signed up on the forums? All right, largest majority of you. The new website name is now NC Sheepdogs Inc. INC.com. There's a form there. Take the 2 minutes, sign up for the form. Regardless, check it once a week, whatever. You don't have to be active on the forum. Our goal is to get away from Facebook. If I could shut that page down today, I would do it. But we can't yet. Our goal is to eventually get away from Facebook and use the website. And hopefully on down the road, we've got something even bigger in store, where it's just going to be for like-minded people like us on a Facebook-like platform. But it's not controlled by Mark Zuckerberg, who donates millions of dollars to our president's, who donates buku money to the current president. And anybody keep up with AR15news.com? Yeah. They had, I think, nearly 80,000 people on their Facebook page, shut them down, had to start over. Because they advertised a giveaway that some arms manufacturing company, I think out of Texas, was holding. They was giving away an AR. I mean, of course, it drawed a lot of attention because, I mean, just the way guns and ammo's been here recently. And Facebook shut them down. They shut down another group out of Pittsburgh along the same lines. And now it's to the point where I guess our page has been under Facebook's radar enough, they won't let me advertise on Facebook anymore. That's all right. Word's still getting out there. I just checked it a while ago and we're over 7,000 people. How many people did I say I wanted in the 3 months after I started this?
Like 3,000?
No, the first, I said after when I started this on Christmas Day. I started the Facebook page on Christmas Day. We were sitting there waiting for my, I'm married, divorced, remarried now. I've got 2 kids back in West Tennessee. I was waiting on them to get to our home in Holly Ridge so we could have our Christmas with them. I was bored. I said I contemplated doing something like this for the longest time, and just with everything that was going on with Sandy Hook, I said, right now is the time to do it. I made the Facebook page that day, and I said, I want 500 people in 3 months. And that was December 25th, 2012. And we're at 7,000 already. I think it was Chris who said it. There's no lid on this right now. This chapter can be as big as you want it. It can be as small as you want it. You can grow, whatever. This is strictly your chapter. I'm going to be checking in from time to time, things like that. But I don't think that a lot of you realize that you're already, here in a couple months, you're going to be able to sit back and like, yeah, well, we were the first chapter. I just showed Chris. I just showed Carrie. I've just got 4 inbox messages on the page since we've been here. You know what people's wanting to know? When are you standing up chapters out west? Are you going to stand up any more chapters along the northern coast? How about a chapter in central North Carolina? And I get inboxes, I get emails every day. When's a chapter coming here? When's a chapter coming there? I told Joe, I said, I'm blue in the face explaining it to people. I said, if you see a message on the inbox, show them the link, tell them that's the info now, coming to a town near you. So I just don't think a lot of you realize you're going to be a part of something that's going to be, it's going to be bigger than me or anything. It's already bigger than what I ever dreamed it could be at. How many, again, how many first responders in here right now? 1. How many cops? EMT, paramedic? So most part, just
There'll be more next time.
be more next time?
Most of them come back.
I know there's at least 2, I think, that are law enforcement that couldn't come tonight.
Okay. So you're going to have a little bit, you're going to have a pretty diverse group here. Law enforcement, paramedics, EMPs, things along that line. I'll be honest to you right now. What do you do for a living?
Operate heavy equipment
Operate heavy equipment.
for now.
This is going to be the backbone of the chapters. Your average day, hard-working American man and woman. It's going to be the backbone of these chapters. The people who's never been law enforcement, anything like that, is going to be the backbone of these chapters. Just your random, everyday civilian who finally had enough, is pissed off because of the way the world's going, and they want to try to do something about it. Those are the people that's going to be the backbone of the chapters. I'm not saying the people who are law enforcement, first responders aren't going to be an important part, because they are. They're going to be the ones that you turn to for the extra knowledge, things like that. What's your name?
Austin.
Austin. I guarantee Austin will pull you to the side here in 15 minutes and have you up to speed on how to at least halfway do CPR the correct way. These are the people that are going to show you the things along the ways, how to better protect yourselves, ways to communicate with people better. All right. I got just about 5 more minutes, I'm done, I promise. This year alone, in January, 467 arrests in Johnson County. In February, 474 arrests in Johnson County. In March, 526 arrests in Johnson County. And in April, there was 551 arrests in Johnson County. This is Johnson County alone statistics. Over 46% of those involve some type of a person getting the charges. The situation was over. Those people were charged with some type of either violent assault on someone else, murder, home evasion. I think when I was figuring out the stats back there before y'all got here, about 4% of them made up for sex crimes against kids right here in your own county. So the last thing I'm going to leave you is, what are you going to do for your own county? What are you going to do to try to make this a safer place for you, for your kids, for your family, better protect your home, and to educate your community? Look at what happened in Boston. 2 men, one practically a kid, shut down an entire metro city for nearly a week. What if it happened in Johnson County? Can someone tell me how long it takes if a major disaster or event occurs, how long it takes for the grocery store to run out of the main essentials like food, water, bread, stuff like that?
17 minutes.
3 days.
The day before.
No, that's just if it snows. 3 days. 3 days. Who lives in a community right now within Johnson County to where if something like that happened in their community or just right outside their community, they knew that their community was prepared for it Any of you? Nobody. Why? So what are you going to do for your community? You're here for a reason. You didn't sacrifice an hour and a half, 2 hours tonight just to come up here and look at my pretty face. I know that. I know that for a fact. You're here for a reason. Last thing I'll leave you is go home, figure out the reason you came here tonight. If it fits, be happy to see you here. Yes, sir.
I think they came to see my pretty face.
Hey, I got great too.
So you can't be crazy to be part of this group.
Borderline.
It's almost a necessity.
Yeah, read the application, it clarifies that.
Actually, bringing that up, there's something else I want to mention out there. Anybody alone, one of the bigger, you're going to see me from time to time. I'm going to be stopping in. Next chapter that's being stood up right after this, here in the next about month or so, is going to be Robeson County. I'm from West Tennessee. I can say it how I want to. It's going to be the next chapter that stood up. I'm going to be personally involved with some of the first things that chapter does, just because that county, I don't know if anybody keeps up with it or took the time to, hey, let's see what's going on in my state. The place is a damn mess right now. Drugs has took that little county, well, not little, it's actually the largest in North Carolina, but it's took it over. It's took it over. I mean, what's going on there is crazy right now. So I'm going to be personally involved with that chapter, kind of overseeing it. But I'd just ask you, go home, figure out the reason why you came here. Oh, I know where I was going with that. Sorry, let's backtrack. The whole crazy thing. Thanks for bringing that up. One of the bigger projects that the organization is going to be pushing as a whole here in the upcoming months is, tell you a little bit of a personal story about me. When I came home from Iraq in 2006, 2005 I did a deployment, 7-month deployment. I came back in 2006. My body came back, but my mind didn't. Okay? I struggled for the longest time before I went and got help. I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been that crazy guy. I was locked up in a psychiatric ward to cool out for 5 days. Then they transferred me to an inpatient program in Martinsburg, West Virginia, where I spent 90 days getting inpatient treatment for PTSD. It's something that's very close to my heart, because when I was struggling with PTSD, I had very much like wolf-like behavior and thoughts going through my head. I almost waited too long before I finally stepped up, swallowed my pride, and I got help. It's something that hits very, very close to me. And one of the things we're going to start doing here in the upcoming months is kind of putting the plans together for it right now, is that being outreach to people. There's going to be a lot of ex-military people associated with this organization across North Carolina. It's not just for military folks. Law enforcement, EMT, paramedic, some of the stuff that they see, they've developed PTSD. And just a random person, you can go out here, God forbid, if one of you got into a car wreck when you left here, you can develop PTSD from it. It's not just going to be for military, law enforcement, first responders. It's going to be for anybody. But we're going to be doing some type of outreach where we become a source for people who are struggling with help, but they know the stigma behind going and getting help for some type of mental health related issue, and they're not ready to fully come out and say, hey, my name's Josh, I admit I need help. People who are still a little bit scared about it, it's going to be an anonymous thing, no names, no nothing. It's going to be an online feature and it's going to be a 910, kind of like a 1-800 number thing you can call, where people they've at least got somebody to talk to, whether it's online or via telephone. They have someone that they can talk to, kind of chill out, and we can give them the resources. Hey, you can go to this place, get help, and maybe so-and-so you ain't going to have to file any type of expensive paperwork. It's only going to cost you $30 to do this. You know what I'm saying? As kind of an outreach for people who are struggling through the same thing. So that's just kind of one of the projects we're going to be working on here in the near future. Any questions for me? Going once?
What do you see the next 6 to 12 months looking like?
As far as
Activity, events?
for this chapter specifically?
chapter.
Those people up there would be the ones to ask that question to. They've sent me an email. I think I seen the email I think Joe had about, because that was one of my things is, when we stand this chapter up, we've got to hit the ground running to let people know that we're out here and to start educating people. I know on the email, I think there's about 8 different topics there that he's hitting on. And I'm telling you, those people right up there, Without them, we couldn't be here tonight. The bylaws, things like that, absolutely no way. I tell you, I hand-selected Joe for a reason, a lot, and the main reason I've done that is because he's just as passionate about how I feel about this as I am. And when I say you're in good hands with the people up there at the table, I'm telling you, you're in good hands. And I'm a no bullshit kind of guy. And I know they've got big plans where they want to go with it. Like one of the big things to get out in the community that I can remember off the top of my head is Meals on Wheels, right? Doing a food drive for them because it's one of the community organizations here that's kind of struggling a little bit. Just because everybody's been hit by budgets in some
The
shape,
Meals
way, or
on
form.
Wheels in Smithfield.
In Smithfield.
They do really, really good things. Joe's personally worked with them quite a bit. I've only gone out once with him, but they're really good people and they want to do more than they can actually handle. And that's one thing we're looking at, is doing a food drive or something to help them out. But I'm going to interrupt you real quick because it goes off to your question. One thing I was going to ask everyone who is coming back, hopefully everybody, to do for us is to think about over the next, few days, few weeks, whatever. We don't have our next meeting date and time set yet, but we're looking at having the second meeting next month. But we'd like everybody to kind of think about your community, your area, specifically locally, where you live, and things that we might be able to get involved with. Whether it's a group that does something good or something like Meals on Wheels in Smithfield that could really, use some, be a fundraising food drive, things like that, but stuff in your very localized area. And if you guys can come up with anything and want to shoot us an email, we'll go through them all, and if we get a couple different responses for the exact same thing, maybe that's what we'd go with. If we get just a lot of responses, we'll probably just pick one at random, and that's where we'll start. If we don't start with Meals on Wheels in Smithfield, like Josh had mentioned, but we really want to get involved as locally as possible. So if you have somewhere that that might be able to benefit from something we can do to help them, we want to be involved as local of a level as we can. Is there anything you want to add to that? I feel like I'm forgetting something.
Really the best way I can think to answer that is our limits over the next 6 months to a year depend on what everyone here is willing to do. If everyone wants to get out and, pardon my French, if they just want to bust ass, get out there and, start helping people, then we'll get a lot done. If not, then we'll be lagging. It's up to everyone in here to come up with these ideas for the fundraising, community service projects, community outreach. It's up to everyone here. Does that answer it? I mean, we have big things. I mean, I could say
Well,
that.
let's say you took the lid off of it, okay? Let's say you got a bunch of bus-ass people that want to get out there. What is it? Perfect world, what does it look like to you? What are we gonna, this whole idea of good men stand ready to do bad things to bad men. That's cool. What's the working out of that? And I'm not talking about, forming a militia, all that. I'm talking about what's the working out of that look like?
Well, in 6 months, a year, in a perfect world, I'd like to see a chapter in all 100 counties of the state. This idea, and I've described it like this many, many times trying to describe it to people. It's like Field of Dreams. You build it and they will come. This idea is contagious. All we have to do is get it out. You know what I mean? If we get this out, that's considered, your crime prevention. It's considered your crime intervention. Just the fact that we are here, letting people know that we are here.
I think part of answering your question is, if we stood up a chapter in every county, what's that chapter doing? I think is your question. What is it doing productive? It is going to be going to the local sheriff's department and talking to the local sheriff, letting them know who we are, what our bylaws are, and everything. Finding out from that sheriff, what is it that you want your county? If you had an opportunity to teach your county exactly what they need to know to be better prepared for anything and to help them, what would it be? And if that is learn home defense, learn self-defense, learn first aid. That is the first aid that's gonna be given to that person when you're standing beside them when something happens to them. And we start putting on events, and part of the stuff that's being asked for is find out where we can go and talk to people. Meals on Wheels, these are true sheep that need those meals. That's why we're getting involved in that. If it's at a public library, if I can get somebody to come over there and talk about first aid for a day. If there's 15 people who show up, that's 15 people that walk away knowing how to do CPR that didn't know how to do it before. If there's, there are, I'm planning, Joe's planning, and Jacob's planning on going, I don't know if you all know. Concealed carry? I think, sir, don't you teach the concealed carry?
As of July, I'm going to Selinsburg, July 24th.
Okay, well, we're going to a class as well, that we can teach the concealed carry class. That would be just getting more people where they can carry firearms, not a prerequisite. But that is things that we can do to turn a flock into a group of people that can better protect themselves. That's what we'll do. How we'll do it, when we'll do it, hasn't been planned out yet. It's the very infant stages. We've spent, we took the all those boring documents that you'll read about the application and the bylaws and everything else. We were acting like the founding fathers, putting those things together, staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning. Because we were taking it seriously, because we're the first chapter, because we wanted the bylaws to be such that now you can do a find and replace in that document, remove Johnston County chapter, enter your name, enter your county's name here, and the same thing expands. A lot of thought went into this, but that's what we want to do with the community. That's what it won't take us 6 months to get an agenda ready or get somebody to listen to us give a first aid class. We've got some first responders right here that he probably a little bit lower rank than me. I'm a little bit older than him, so I can make him give a first aid class. But we'll make him do push-ups.
I was gonna say, only if you make me do push-ups first, I'll do it.
But we have those resources we need to pull from our ranks, get the resources, people that can. As soon as you get online with teaching concealed carry, we'll make that knowledge available to everybody. Tell everybody, hey, we've got a guy that, and hey, I know a guy. I got a guy. Hey.
If it's okay with him.
Yeah. We worked that out. But it's the same thing with first aid classes. I teach self-defense, not for Hulk that don't need it, but for